Today we're going to look at relative volume, and we're looking at October 21st, 2024. It's around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm going to go through each sector. I have 13 sectors, and then I rank them. So we're going to go through the first sector, and then the second one, the ones ranked the highest above its 30-week moving average. See if we have any relative volume for any stocks that are getting buying pressure or selling pressure by the institutions. This is just a one-day time frame for relative volume, so it doesn't necessarily, it's just something you can keep an eye on. So if we go to the relative volume screen, we're going to look at utilities first because that ranks number one. We do have 1 over 1 times volume, and this stock is down, but everything else is in one. It's barely over 1. So this is really nothing to be concerned about. This is the strongest sector. If you own any of these stocks and they're above their 30-week moving average, I would not be concerned here because they're even though we see that all of these are down today pretty much with the exception of one here, PEG is up on the day and yesterday, and also PPL. And then we have, from yesterday's close, we have Constellation, which is Friday's close. We have Constellation Energy that's up. So there's really not much to see here. These just look like pullbacks on weakness, and any pullback on weakness for a strong stock is an ideal entry point if it's something you want to own. So let's go to the next sector. So the next sector that we're going to look at is going to be the aerospace and defense, XAR. That ranks number 2 above its 30-week moving average at 12.25% above it. If we go to the relative volume screen, and just so you know here, we're looking at 30 days of volume and then taking the 30-day volume average and dividing it into the volume to see what our relative volume is. So over the last 30 days, Virgin Galactic has been trading around 584,000 shares, but today it's trading 2 million. So we're dividing 2 million by 584,000 to come up with 3.27 for the relative volume. And that is down, so that's concerning, and it's well below its 30-week moving average. So based on technical analysis, I'm not saying that you shouldn't own this long-term or not. It's just based on technical analysis, I would not be getting near this stock. Same thing with Boeing. It is up from yesterday, but it's not. We have relative volume, and it is up from yesterday. So this may be something to look at, but we're 7.53% below our 30-week moving average. So you'd have to chart this to take a look and see if it was worth it. And then Spirit Aerosystems is up from Friday's close. It was 31.73. Today it is 32.93, and it's just barely down today. And that's sitting right around a 30-week moving average. So if you take a look at the 30-week chart, you could it may be an opportunity, it may not. But you have to look at the chart to see if it's in an uptrend or not. So for this, we're just going through relative volume. BWXT is well above its 30-week moving average, but it has relative volume and is down today. So it's not on weakness. We're getting a little selling pressure, but we are pretty extended on above our 30-week moving average. So I wouldn't be too concerned yet here. And then ATRO is down on a little bit of relative volume and right near our 30-week moving average. So that's another one that you'd have to chart. And then the last one I'll look at, because I'm only going to go to the ones that are above 1 or not, is Rocket Labs. And the only reason I'm going to look at Rocket Labs here in row 8 is because it's almost 100% above its 30-week moving average. So this is a very strong stock right now. And it is this has institutions want to buy this because it's trading 7 million shares a day, and it's up a little bit, both from yesterday's close and from the open today. We're at $11.02. We opened at 10.85 and we closed on Friday at 10.81. So it just keeps trending up and has been strong for a while. So that's it for that sector. I'll scroll down just so you can see all of them, and you can do your own homework on these if you want. Next one we'll look at is the third ranked one, which is the home builders, and that's 10.46% above its 30-week moving average currently. And if we go to the relative volume screen, we can see this is a very strong sector. We have a lot of stocks that are down in the sector today. PHM Group is down has 1.70 relative volume, so that's the highest volume, and that is down 2.66% from yesterday's close and 2.47% from the open today. I wouldn't get too worried about that because we are 17%, almost 18% above our 30-week moving average. So I wouldn't get too worried. And then everything else is, nothing really to be too concerned about. It's light relative volume or below 1. This is a very strong sector right now. If you own any of these and they're above your 30-week moving average and the chart is trending up, I wouldn't be concerned. But that's it's just to give you some analysis. We'll go on to the next sector. The next sector we'll look at here will be the financials. That ranks forward 10.33% above its 30-week moving average. We'll go to the relative volume screen. This is also a strong sector. You have a couple that are down on relative volume and down a little bit, but they're all above their 30-week moving average, and they look pretty strong here, 10% or more. So I see nothing that looks too concerning. There's more stocks in the financial sector than the other sectors, so I'll just scroll down a little bit here if you want to pause your screen and take a look at the relative volume and where they trade in relation to their 30-week moving average. We're looking at this on a 30-week time frame, and this column here is the percentage above that moving average. So I'm just going to keep scrolling so you can, we have more stocks here. There's 71 stocks in this sector. So just keep going up. And you can just pause and take a look and see which ones look interesting. If they're above their 30-week moving average and the chart's in an uptrend, I wouldn't get concerned on any pullbacks here. It's just this is just something you want to keep an eye on. Let's go on to the next sector. And the next sector will be the industrials. That is ranking number 5 among the 13 sectors we're looking at, and it is 10.02% above its 30-week moving average. If we go to the relative volume screen, we can see that we have, you'll get some overlay from some stocks will be in more than one sector, so that's something to also keep in mind. We do have Boeing with 2.29 relative volume, and it is up from yesterday's close, but it's well below its 30-week moving average. We already talked about that in one of the other sectors there. And then we have Paycom that has relative volume of 1.81, and it is up both on the day and from the close yesterday, or close Friday. It closed Friday at 165.89, opened today at 166.22, and the share price is now 170.74, and it's 3.09% above its 30-week moving average. So I haven't looked at this on a chart, but that's something by screening. This is a stock that I would immediately probably take a look at and see, like, is this getting ready to go up higher? Is it a safe entry from right above the 30-week moving average? Because my risk would be limited because I'm so close to the 30-week moving average, as long as my 30-week moving average is trending up. Also, just keep in mind, this will change. This is updating live. However often Google changes the prices, these charts will change. We have some other companies with some relative volume. They are all down. There's a lot of stocks in this sector, so you got to pay attention to what's going on here. And then we do have one that's up here, General Electric, that has relative volume of 1.29. It's barely up, just 0.32%, 0.16%, but it is above its 30-week moving average. So if you own it, that's a good thing. It's nothing to get real excited about as a buy or anything with that little bit of movement. And then the rest are, round one or under. So I'll just go ahead and scroll down. We have, I think, 77 stocks in this sector. So I'll just scroll down real quick so you can take a look. I'll just go down a little bit at a time. And then you can do your own homework on these. And 1, 2, 3. Okay. And I'll just pause the video if you want to see all these stocks. Okay, so then we'll go on to the next sector, the sixth ranked sector, which should be the, I believe, the REIT sector. Let's take a look here. And the sixth ranked sector is the real estate sector. So XLRE. So let's just go to our relative volume screen. See if we get any. Alexandria, everything is down on relative volume, but there's not really a lot of relative volume. 1.24, 1.24, and this isn't down a ton, and it is above its 30-week moving average. If you own Alexandria real estate, it's only 0.65% from its 30-week moving average. So that's something, is that moving average curling up? Is it curling down? You'd have to look at a chart to see if that was worth it. Most of these stocks are really just income stocks. When people can't get bond rates anymore, they go into real estate stocks. So I'll just go ahead and go down so you can look at all of them. But everything in the real estate sector today pretty much is down from Friday's close. Every single stock. The seventh ranked sector is going to be this consumer discretionary, XLY. That's about 7.43% above its 30-week moving average. Ranks number 7 out of the 13 sectors. If we look at the relative volume, we do have some stocks that are up on relative volume. We have 2 here, Lululemon and Expedia. Expedia, I believe, was getting talked about being bought out by Uber, so that could be why this is going up. So that has some recent news that could be pushing the price of the stock up, and institutions pushing that up. After that, you really don't have a whole lot of relative volume. Those are both, Lulu and Expedia are both up from the close and the open. They opened today and the close Friday. There's really nothing to look at after that. There's not a whole lot of relative volume. Let's see, we have one that's up here, 1.17 Alta Beauty. I believe Warren Buffett took a position in this, or Berkshire Hathaway, so that could be pushing that up. And this one's still below its 30-week moving average, so I would keep an eye on that one and see what it's doing. And these ones up here are either well above it or right near it. Lululemon's right near its 30-week moving average, so you'd have to look at a chart to see if that was worth a look. So I'll just go ahead and scroll down and we'll look at all of them, so you can take a look and decide what to do for yourself here. And 53 is the last one we have here. So we have a lot of stuff that's down in the market today. The next sector we're going to look at is the technology sector. This is ranks 8. It's 6.81 out of 13. It's 6.81% above its 30-week moving average. If we go to the relative volume screen, we have a lot of stocks that are down on relative volume. Gen Digital, I've never heard of that one. Monolithic Power is down on some relative volume, but these are still above their 30-week moving average. So keep these. I wouldn't run away. Sometimes if they get extended, they will come down on that extension. End phase, this is down. It's below its 20. It's below 20% below its 30-week moving average, and we have relative volume that's pushing it down even more. This is a stock I wouldn't want to be in based on technical analysis. Cadence Designs, we have relative volume, and that's also down both on the close and the open from today. We have Lam Research, which is also, it's down from the close on, let me highlight here, it's down from the close on Friday, but it is up from the open today. So it opened at 72.62. Right now it's only a few cents above that. It's right between the two. It's really not doing anything. 0.22% and 0.08%. Supermicro, that is up on relative volume, so that's something to keep an eye on. This is an extremely volatile stock. If you look at a trend channel, it is very wide, and there is a lot of space to the top and the bottom. I mean, hundreds of dollars of space to the top and the bottom. So just keep that in mind. You have volatility, but this is trading at the lower end of that trend channel. This is one I actually keep an eye on, so I know that without looking at a chart. First Solar, we have that down on relative volume. That could be bad, and we are below our 30-week moving average. So if you own this, this is one to keep an eye on. You are negative 11.47% on this one. Below the 30-week moving average. At some point, you want to put a stop somewhere below that 30-week moving average. This might be the area, but it's up to you. It's up to your risk tolerance. Maybe you want to put it at 15% if you think the turnaround's coming, or 20%. It's all up to you. After that, we have Seagate Technology. That has some relative volume, but it's not really doing much. The next one that has relative volume that's really up is going to be NVIDIA. And that's one that just trades all over the place all the time, but over time has trended up for last couple of years. So this is a good stock that's been a good stock for a long time. And then the rest of the relative volume, the stocks are down, and it looks like they're down below their 30-week moving average, or not that far above it, with the exception of Akamai Technologies. That one is down today on slight relative volume, only 1.22, but it is above its 30-week moving average by 8%. So I wouldn't be concerned if the chart is trending up on that 30-week moving average. And I'll just go through, I'll scroll down so you can see all of them. And then you can just do whatever, anything that doesn't have relative volume. I'm really looking for stocks that have a differential in the volume from their last 30 days to today. The next sector we'll look at is the telecommunications sector. That ranks 9 at 6.76% above its 30-week moving average. If we go to the relative volume screen, there's not that many stocks in this ETF, but they have Netflix has 2.41 volume, and it is up on both the close from Friday and today, the open from today. Just slightly, but they did report good earnings, so this is going to be this is probably going higher. And if you own this, I wouldn't sell it. In my opinion, I wouldn't sell it, but that's just an opinion. You do your own due diligence. T-Mobile, same thing. It's strong. It's above the 20%, 22% above the 30-week moving average. We have relative volume. It's up on that relative volume, but slightly. So this is not a stock that I would be concerned with if I owned it. IPG is down slightly. The percentages are slight. This is one where I start to look at more. If I get negative 3.45%, Warner Brothers, I would keep an eye on. We're below the 30-week moving average, and we have relative volume, and we're from Friday's close, we're down 3.5%. So that's something to keep an eye on if you own it or if you wanted to buy it. You know, because we want to buy. For me, the way I do this for this channel is we look at the 30-week moving average and we want to buy stocks that are strong and above them. It doesn't mean you can't be a value investor and buy Warner Brothers if you think it's a good investment when it's below. But this channel is about finding stocks in uptrends. Verizon's down, but on relative volume, but a slight relative volume, and is still above its 30-week moving average. Nothing to be concerned about. Paramount is down. It's 8% below its 30-week moving average. So same thing. This is not one I would want to own or get into right now because of how far down it is below its 30-week moving average. Unless this is a breakdown and then it comes back and it looks like it might come back. But if this has been trending down and it's below its 30-week moving average, you know, I'm not charting these right now, so I don't know for sure, but I'm going to assume that this is that the 30-week moving average is curling, you know, downwards. Okay, let's go into the next sector. And you can just go out and look at all the rest of them, see if they're up or down on the day and how much. The next sector is going to be the material sector. That ranks 10. It's 5.65% above its 30-week moving average. So even though this ranks 10, and 1 through 10, they're 5% or more above their 30-week moving average. So it's not like these are bad just because they're lower. It just ranks, it's 10th out of 13 of the 13 sectors we're looking at. So just keep that in mind. If we go to the relative volume screen, there's not that many stocks in this. We have really no relative volume, but everything is down today. If you have stocks that are uptrending and they're above their 30-week moving average, I wouldn't be concerned about that. It's just, you know, institutions, they sell stuff off some days, but on weak volume, I would never worry too much. The next sector we'll look at is the XLP. That ranks 11 out of 13. It's 3.7% above its 30-week moving average. If we go to the relative volume screen, the very first stock here, Kenvue, is 12% above its 30-week moving average. It has 4.06 relative volume. So that I start to get interested there. What's going on? And then it's from Friday's close, it's up 5%. But from today's open, it has pulled back, but only 0.52%. So I wouldn't get too worried here. This is a stock that I would say, okay, 12% above. I have institutions coming in with 4 times relative volume. I want to know what's going on. I want to chart this stock. This is a stock I want to chart. So that's how I kind of do my process here. Go through each sector and the ones that look like the best. And this is not extended. 12.64% above the 30-week moving average is really nothing. If you put in a trailing 25% stop loss, you would be looking at like 13% or so below your 30-week moving average for your stop loss. But as long as this is trending up, you'd have nothing to worry about. I mean, we've only had 6 million shares. I say only, this has been trading 6.6 million shares a day for the last 30 days, and today's trading 27 million. So that's something to keep an eye on in this sector. So every sector matters, even though this sector ranks 11th. This is a stock that interests me right now. I haven't done any research on it or due diligence, but I probably will because of what I'm seeing here. And then if we go down, you know, this one's up on relative volume, but slightly, nothing really big. We got some that, well, 1.52, it's down. It's only down 1%. It's right around its 30-week moving average. The Dollar Tree I wouldn't touch with, and it's below 33.7% below its 30-week moving average. Unless I was value investing, you know, based on this technical analysis and looking for stocks and uptrends, I wouldn't buy this one. Target is below its 30-week moving average, and it's down quite a bit today. I believe that's Target, right? Yeah, down 4%, 3.55%, and it's got relative volume of 1.37. So that would be concerning. That means institutions are selling this Target off right now. So if I was a holder at Target, I'd be watching this and seeing how much further is it going to go below my 30-week moving average. Now, I don't know if the 30-week moving average is trending up for Target or not because I haven't looked at a chart for this. If it's trending up, I definitely want to sell it. If it's trending down, I would definitely have tight stops in here for myself. You have to do what works for you. And all the rest are pretty much the volume's negligent, and there's not like a big percentage up or down. So I'll just go ahead and scroll down so you can see what's in this ETF, and you can do your own due diligence. And we'll go on to the 12th rank sector. So our 12th rank sector is healthcare, and that is 2.39% above its 30-week moving average, and it ranks 12th. If we go to the relative volume screen, Centene Corporation has 5.25 times relative volume, and it is down today, but it is only down 1% from Friday's close and 1% from today's open, but it's 15.90% below its 30-week moving average. So this is not a stock that would interest me personally based on using the 30-week moving average. Cigna Group is down quite a bit, so this one would actually scare me if I owned it. I may want to get out of it because it's 7% below its 30-week moving average. We have almost 5 times relative volume, and it's down 4.48% from Friday's close and 3.71% from the open today. Now, that doesn't mean Cigna Group is a bad long-term investment. It just means in the short term, it's not looking good based on technical analysis. So just keep that in mind when I'm talking about these. Everything else, we don't have huge percentages with the relative volume, so I wouldn't worry too much about them if you own them. There's always going to be some pullbacks. Intuitive Surgical is down. It's actually up. I'm not sure why this is down. 519.04, 519.76, 521. This should be up for both from the open today and the close from Friday. So this is a stock that just reported earnings and is doing pretty well. So this will probably go higher. This is only 18% above its 30-week moving average, and it is up. And I'll just scroll down so you can see all of them here. That's probably too fast, so I'll try to go a little slower. So as I go up, just pause so you can just take a look at all the stocks and see where they are in relation to their moving average. And the last one we'll go through will be the 13th ranked one, and that will be, so that's going to be the energy sector. And that is negative 1.32% below its 30-week moving average, and it ranks 13. If we look at the relative volume, we have relative volume for Schlumberger, and that is up 2% from Friday's close and 1.59% from today's open. So that is a good thing, but it is 7% below, 7.5% below its 30-week moving average. So that's one to keep an eye on and watch and see if it looks like it's starting to get ready to break out. I would put that on a watch list and pay attention to it. We have everything else is really negligent, and this is the weakest sector. So if you want to own these, I would own the strongest stocks in the weakest sector. So I would be looking at stocks like that are in the green here: Target Group, One Oak, the Williams Company, and Kinder Morgan. These are the four strongest stocks in the sector. And you could probably pick some other ones that are above the 30-week moving average, as long as they're trading, as long as it's uptrending and they're trading above it. So the volume here that on the sell-offs it's all weak volume, and if we have any buying pressure, it's all weak volume. So I wouldn't get too excited. That's it. That's all I got for this video. I just wanted to go through each sector and show you the relative volume for each sector and stocks that may look interesting in each one of those sectors. There was really the one that stood out the most to me was Kenvue for the relative volume that I would do more research on based on the screen we looked at. But hey, leave a comment below and let me know what stock stood out the most to you. And if this is a video you like and would like me to do every day, this is something that changes day after day after day. I can do that, but I just need to know. I need to know what people want to watch. If it's not something that's interesting and nobody watches this, then I won't be making more videos like this. I'm experimenting here. Thank you for watching, and consider hitting the like and subscribe button.